Hey everyone, Parallel here. Welcome to Star Trek Online. The Mirror Universe event is back for 2017. Let's go ahead and check this out and see what has changed. There was some hype on Reddit that the development team has taken a look at this event and made some adjustments this time around. So let's see if that is indeed the case. Spoiler alert, I've run this on a few alts and no, not much has changed, but there are a few minor differences that I will point out as I go ahead and do a run of the queue itself here. But first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at the event reward this time around, see what the project is, the event reputation project. Because there is a new reward this time, and that's usually the big reason for doing one of these events. So let's go ahead here, pull up our reputation, go to the events tab, and we will see here is the event this time around. You can see I have some of the previous year events here still queued up. And I do recommend if you slot this project, it's always good to leave it in your project queue just in case later on you can still use your rewards to complete the old projects. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It's always good to keep them slotted. Alright, so this time around, it comes with your standard rewards here. You've got your dilithium, you've got your extra fleet marks, you've got your choice of marks. But completing the project this time around, you get a universal console. That is pretty cool. I think that, that's always helpful for new players. If you're looking to fill out those console slots, free universal console never hurts. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here. It is the Interphasic Instability. That's the name of the console. It's kind of a weird name. What it has is 5% damage and 7.5% maximum hull capacity. Now it's a little odd. 5% damage. It doesn't say all damage. It doesn't say energy damage, kinetic damage. I have no idea what that is. If it's Cat 2 or Cat 1. Usually if it says all damage, it sometimes is a Cat 2. So maybe it is a 5% Cat 2 bonus. If true, that's actually not bad. And then some extra hull capacity. Those are the passives. It has an active ability, Interphasic Instability. It is an AoE radiation damage over time and mobility/resistance debuff. Sounds promising, actually. Is it targeted AoE or is it point blank? Let's see, it says applies interphasic instability to target for 12 seconds. To foe and foe's allies within 3 kilometers. So it looks like it is targeted around a foe. So again, that could be something, combine that with like a gravity well, suck everyone in, put this on them, that would be actually quite nice. So it does do a radiation damage per second. And it does do a damage resistance debuff, that's not bad. It also gives them a speed and turn rate debuff, so that actually could be good for keeping enemies in your gravity well. So honestly, a fairly good console. It's worth checking out to see if this clicky is any good, and I'm very curious about that 5% damage. I wonder if anyone has gone on Tribble and completed this and figured out what type of damage that is. That's just a very odd wording there. Just doesn't. It's not standardized to any of the other previous consoles we've got that usually say all damage or energy damage or something along those lines. But that being the case, I would say it's worth it for new players for sure. Pick this up. You know, an extra universal console will help, and it seems to be pretty solid clicky and some good passives. Of course, if anyone's not familiar with how these events work, you do need to get 14 of these multi-dimensional transporters. You get these by completing the event queue. You can get one of these per day, so you run the queue once a day for 14 days. You get 14 of these multi-dimensional transporters, and then you can complete the project, and you're all good to go. Pretty straightforward. Now, they did mention, Cryptic did say they were going to make some changes this time around to the event, so I'll go ahead and queue up. I'll try to point out some of the changes that I've noticed from previous events, but they're pretty minor. I will still go through and give some tips and tricks in case anyone is interested or new to the event. Hopefully they will be helpful, because there are a few things you can keep in mind while doing this. But I will also point out some of the shortcomings of this particular event. The Mirror Universe event is probably one of the, I would say, least refined or least enjoyable of all the queued events. So we'll go ahead and let's talk about that while we are in the mission itself. Probably is going to be a very fast queue because, of course, the event is going on now and everyone is running it. For this event, I'm using my Klingon tactical character. I will be flying the Mahta Raptor fleet version, which is absolutely fantastic.
Our forces have repelled a Terran scout force, but I believe a full-scale invasion from the Mirror universe is imminent. We cannot allow them to take control of Bothell Station. The Mirror forces will open rifts from their universe. Close these rifts to keep their ships out. Science vessels can do this faster.
Yep, keep that in mind.
The station's power systems were damaged in the initial assault. If you divert power from the secondary relays, we can channel it into our systems and bring defenses back online. Cruisers will complete this task more quickly.
Yep, another
tip. The more power you divert, the more quickly we can make our repairs. We are preparing an anti-tachyon pulse to close the rifts and send the ships back to their own universe. But it will take time to bring it online. During the invasion, you will need to protect the station from attack.
There you go. That's the cutscene. I'm going to go ahead and cloak up here. But I will be using a cannon build for just for fun. I'm loving cannon builds on the Mahta Raptor. It is a fantastic, my favorite Klingon ship by far. All right, so quick tips on the event. First thing is Phase 1. What you're going to be doing is basically two things you need to focus on. You need to close the rifts. You see one just opened over there. Someone's going to go grab it. I'll go grab this one over here. You need to close these rifts. And I know their ship's going to be coming out here. Let's go ahead and take care of them. And you need to take care of those ships quickly. High DPS does help. And then you want to close the rift. Oh, did someone else close it already? Okay, so you want to close those rifts, of course. There's going to be a lot of them, right? So you need to close them. And you also want to activate these power stations. Those are the two things you want to focus on. Power stations will then increase this defense level here. So you'll see a little beam goes into the station, powers it up. It has to go through 5 of these defense levels to come online with its big tachyon beam cannon that it shoots out. Oh, there's another rift over there. Let's go ahead and take care of these guys. Yep. So here's the thing. You want to close these rifts as fast as possible. And one thing to keep in mind is that closing these rifts, if anything so much as breathes on you, if a torpedo glances your hull, if you take one speck of damage, it will interrupt your closing of the rift. So that's why it actually helps to have like a good DPS to be able to take out of the ships that spawn out of it quickly and then close the rift. Because if you can't take them out quickly, then more will keep coming out of the rift and they'll keep interrupting you trying to close it, right? Or especially if there's like multiple rifts right next to each other. That becomes problematic as you can quickly get out of hand. Let's go ahead and get this power transfer going because you can see we're at the next defense level, so you got to reactivate them, get more power going to the station. So you're probably wondering, is this really a DPS race? And it kind of is, because you do have to have a decent amount of DPS to be able to take out these ships fast enough. But if you're wondering if you're a new character, new player, and you don't have a really high DPS build, there are actually some things you can do here. Oh, see, these guys are interrupting me. There are some things you can actually do to beat... another one's interrupting me. See how hard it is sometimes, even with a high DPS ship, you're still going to have trouble. You're still going to get interrupted closing these rifts. There are just so many things that can interrupt you. Quite annoying. And I can interrupt myself by shooting at this frigate that got into range somehow. Oh, see, now it took so long, another wave spawned out. Let's go ahead and take them out. But as I was trying to say, even if you don't have the highest DPS ship in the world, there are some useful things you can still do as a new character. In particular, what I would recommend if you're a new player, just get into a science ship and go around and close these rifts, like follow another player around, let them get aggro, and then you just swoop in and close the rifts. Because with a science ship, you can close the rifts really, really quickly, and with someone else taking the aggro, you can swoop in, close the rift before another spawn comes out while someone else is taking aggro. So that'd be my big tip for if you're a new player, because that can actually be really, really useful for closing all the rifts, and even if you're not in like a high DPS build. Come on, close it before these... Ah, dang it. So it is, they scratched my hull before I could close it. They interrupted me, and there's that. Got quite a big spawn going over there. I'll go ahead over there and clear them out after we close this rift. Now there is something I noticed here, guys. See how that was just interrupted and nothing was hitting me? I think this is a bug. Hopefully Cryptic, I don't know if anyone at Cryptic is watching, but or if anyone can pass it on to Cryptic. Apparently if you have a heavy escort weapon, like I'm using the heavy escort flak artillery from the Reputation, if you are running that, apparently that firing cycle, even if you're out of combat, the firing cycle will still interrupt your closing of the rift. It's very, very annoying. So let's go over here and thin the herd. Yeah, so I'm actually almost tempted to just turn this off because it's just too annoying to deal with, constantly having that interrupt closing the rifts. Alright, let's go over here and close this one. Who just spawned? Okay, they're out of range. Maybe I can just stay here and close this before something else comes out. So yeah, I would say if you are a newer player, definitely go with the science ship and just go around and close rifts. It's still very helpful even if you're not killing a lot of things quickly. It's still very useful to close the rifts so you don't get as overwhelmed. In fact, I think I'm going to close this one before I engage. You can see we're already closed up to 22 rifts now. That's not bad. One of the optional objectives is to keep the starbase healthy and power it up. So you do want to, kill as many of the Mirror Universe vessels as you can, just to keep the station healthy. I do think if you get more healthy, you keep it. You do get some more marks at the end. I mean, it's not a huge deal. So yeah. So one thing I want to say that they have changed this time around is that I have to say it seems like they have increased the frequency and number of the rift spawns. I think they were trying to up the difficulty of it a little bit. And some of my runs with my alts, I've seen we've closed 40 rifts. And I know in past years and past events, I've never closed that many. It always capped out in the 20 to maybe 30 range for closing rifts, and I've gotten well up to 40 several times now. So I would say that's one change. And I think actually that would make the advanced version of this queue probably a little bit difficult to keep under control with that many, having to close that many rifts and having the higher rift spawn rate. So yeah, I would say if you are going to do the advanced queue, make sure you do have a good ship to be able to contribute. 2, 1. So we've got people have been doing a good job in this group powering up the station with the satellites. So now it's already up to tier 5, and you can hear the commander is starting to launch his weapon with the countdown there. You'll get used to that. You'll hear that about 500,000 times during this event.
Firing station plasma lands in 3,
like with that.
2, 1.
That'll pretty much be steered into your brain after you run this event for 14 days. Okay, so we're up to 30 rifts, and still there you can see there's still quite a few going on here. And I know in previous years, by the time you would close 30 rifts, things were kind of slowing down and getting more under control. We still got 2 minutes left here, too. I'm gonna go ahead here and try to thin this out a little bit here. Aha! Scourge of the Terran Empire, woohoo! Probably some damage accolade on the Terrans. Okay, I need to heal up a little bit here. Oh, he already closed it.
Firing station plasma lance in 3.
Still doing good. This group is quite good, keeping everything under control here. Any other tips? So, as you mentioned at the beginning, you know, science ships are good for closing the rifts, and engineering ships are good for powering up the satellites. So if you're in a cruiser, you know, go ahead and you can focus on getting the power satellites, feeding power into the station. That's not too huge of a deal, honestly. You can see I'm in a tactical ship, and I didn't have much problem activating it with the normal time frame. But being in a science ship and closing the rifts faster is nice, just because you get interrupted so easily while trying to close the rifts.
Firing station plasma lance in 3.
Other than that, that is pretty much it. Now, once you finish up this phase, the second phase will start, and that is where you actually have to fight a Terran flagship and close a few more rifts, and we'll get to that as soon as we start that phase. But one thing I do want to mention here, one of the reasons why this queue is not very well loved by the community, which might be a mild understatement, is that it's a time-gated queue, right? So you can see when the time first came up, that's how much time you have. Even if we close all the rifts, like right now we've pretty much closed all the rifts at 37, it doesn't matter. You could close the rifts super fast, and it doesn't matter. You're still going to have to wait for the whole time period. And that is what makes it frustrating, I think, for a lot of the community. It often makes this... I mean, there's no gain to actually trying hard, other than maybe a few extra marks in the bonus objective. There's really not much motivation for people to do well and try to close as many rifts as quickly as possible, because even if you close them all, you're just going to sit here doing nothing until the time remaining is done. So with that time gate, that is, I think, the main complaint with this queue. That's what I was hoping Cryptic would fix, but they have not. So that is quite unfortunate. That is a much needed change for this particular queue. I mean, a lot of the other queues, like the Voth city ship and everything, they really streamlined it.
The dreadnought is emerging from a rift at 10
And this
o'clock.
one they just did not, so that's unfortunate. Alright, so here is phase 2. There are, I believe, 6 rifts that spawn around the area, and one of them will have a flagship. So there's actually right here, see the USS Stadi, that is the flagship. Now in phase 2, do not go to the flagship. You got to go around and close all the other rifts first. If you damage the flagship and any of the rifts are still open, it will just flee to one of the existing rifts, and you will not be able to kill it, and you have to wait for it to re-emerge. So I would say do not do not focus on that flagship first. Just go around and close all these other rifts. Once these other rifts are closed, you'll actually hear the station commander actually announce they're all closed. Once you hear that, then you know you're good to go.
Firing station plasma lance in 3, 2, 1.
You're good to go and take out the flagship. And in fact, one of the other differences, probably you would have noticed this if you've already played this queue a lot, but one of the other differences is that there was no cutscene for Phase 2. For some reason that I cannot fathom, they took out the cutscene for Phase 2.
2, 1.
Oh, you tractored me. No, I can't get my cannons in arc. Okay, there we go. For whatever reason, they cut out the cutscene. There used to be a cutscene, you know, the Terran flagship would come out of a rift and shoot and look all cool and badass. But they got rid of that.
Not trapped.
All right, there we go. Let's get this flagship. Let's do the Mata special here. with the spinal cannons. It's already dead. Mata spinal cannon is absolutely incredible. I love it. And that is it, guys. Take out the flagship after you close all the rifts and you're done. If you don't close the rifts, like I said, the flagship will flee through one of the rifts and then you have to wait for it to respawn, which just makes it take longer. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I still can't figure out why they took out the cutscene, because I don't know if you noticed this, you have to sit there and wait anyway for Phase 2 to start. So it's kind of pointless to take away the cutscene because you have to wait for that time anyway. You might as well at least put a cutscene in there just for kicks, to give something to watch while you're waiting for the you know, the second phase to start anyway. So a little bit odd on the changes. I mean, I guess for me it's okay if they increase the rift spawn rate and the number of rifts. I'm totally fine with that. You know, extra challenge is not a bad thing, but they left in the time gate for Phase 1 and they took out the cutscene for Phase 2, so just very odd changes. I'm not quite sure what the goal was here from Cryptic's side. It just doesn't seem to materially change the queue or improve it in any significant way. And so there it is, guys, Mirror Universe event, and that's what you need to do. You can actually heal the station, like if it's getting hurt, so you can heal it. It's not something you need to worry about that much. But like I said, if you keep it at higher health, as long as it does, the station doesn't die, I do believe you get a few extra marks.
The dreadnought
Let's see
has
here.
been destroyed, and the area is
Yes.
free of
Okay. So if you get it to max
Thank
defense, so
you.
you fill up all
Without
5
your
defenses,
help,
you'll get the
Volvo
10
Station would have
marks.
been lost.
Rifts closed, 43 marks. The more rifts you close, the more marks. Starbase health. So yeah, if the starbase doesn't die, you get 10 extra marks. Again, not a huge deal. So you know, it's whatever. And it's unfortunate, without that extra motivation, you know, with that time gate in there and no real reason to try hard, what happens a lot in this event, guys, is you get a lot of AFKers. This queue is notorious for having AFKers. So just be prepared for that. You might get an AFKer. I haven't had a problem with it, honestly, too much yet, but towards the end of the event, when people are getting, you know, are ready to gouge their eyes out with a spoon before wanting to do this queue again, they might just decide to, I'm about to get kicked out here, but they might just decide to AFK it, especially if they're running on a lot of alts like I am. Unfortunately, it gets quite painful. So yeah, just be aware of that. You will run into AFKers, and it is unfortunate, but you know, what can you do? Pickup groups are, you know, they are what they are. You can't do anything about it. So once you finish the queue, you do get your choice of marks, and I wanted to show something here that they just added, Cryptic just added in the last patch now, that queues that give a choice of marks, they have now added the new reputation. The competitive wargames reputation is now in the list. So you can actually get this to grind out your competitive wargames reputation, which is still ongoing, obviously. I'm going to go ahead and do that now before my time out here, but that is a good thing. So, in fact, I mean, while this event is going, I can at least use this for my daily run to get my, to grind out my competitive wargame marks instead of having to do the competitive wargame queue. So, that's good. But yeah, I mean, this is still a pretty new reputation, so I don't think it's even possible to have maxed out yet. I'm maybe 1 or 2 days behind. I think maybe people might just now be getting to tier 5, but still quite a ways, a couple weeks left, I think, before people will start maxing this out. So I guess that's one kind of good thing for having the Mirror Universe event now. You can just run that to get your to grind out your competitive wargaming marks. So that's something. It is actually true that it added it for even other queues that have a choice of marks. I know I did a Borg Red Alert that gives a choice of marks. And that also was added the competitive wargame reputation marks there as well. So that's something you can keep in mind. For those of you out there who, for some reason, aren't enjoying the new, you know, PvP/PvE queues, the new wargaming queues, you can now do it from choice of marks. All right, guys, so that is Mirror Universe event 2017. Yeah, I would say, honestly, I mean, for new players, it's good to do. You can still contribute, you know, help close the rifts and everything. You can still be beneficial to the queue, even if you're on a lower DPS ship, or even if you have, you know, a starting type gear. You can still participate and help out. Your reward will be a good universal console that you can fit into your build that seems pretty decent, depending on what type of damage buff that is. But an extra universal console. I remember when I was just starting new builds, when if you have a new ship, you just got to level 60. Finding enough good consoles to fill out all those slots is important, and this would help in that regard. Certainly worthy of some testing. So the reward, I think, is decent. I think just the main issue here is just that none of the changes they made to the event this time around were, I think, improved it all that much. So it's just the same old Mirror Universe event, and it's an unfortunate, quite a long grind due to the time gating. But other than that, guys, I would say good luck out there. Have fun. Try to enjoy your grind as much as possible. Try not to blow your brains out after 14 days of running the same queue on 10 different alts. And there you go. Enjoy. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. That's all. Bye for now.